Hello and welcome to this video where I will be going on to my Spotify Repeat Rewind and drawing the first 3 album covers that come up. I got this idea from Lavender Town, who did this challenge about 2 years ago, and I'll be leaving her video in the description down below. So I started by opening the playlist and clicking shuffle, and the first song that came up is Home by Daughter. So when this album cover popped up, I got really excited because it has a lot of the elements that I love drawing, which are people, and they also have some fun face paint and some fun expressions. So I got really excited to draw this. I was also kind of surprised to see the song on there because I didn't know that I listened to it all that much, and this playlist is also like past favorites, so I had kind of just forgotten about it. And after I got this on the shuffle, I actually started listening to it again, and I remember how much I like this song. So this is like a really calm and a little bit dramatic song, and I also just think that the vocals in the song are just very clean and very bewitching. So I personally love the song. It's definitely not for everyone, but I love it. Here I've gotten the sketch done, and then I'm starting on the line art. I started by making kind of a bit too clean line art that I didn't really like and didn't feel like fit the style I was going for. So for the girl, I went a bit more messy with it, and then I colored them in and the background, and I started with the faces, which is of course my favorite part. And I wanted it to look very smooth and very soft. You can see in the original album cover that it looks like a photograph where they used the flash. So the shadows are very minimal and it's very bright, which makes this really nice effect, I think, in the photo. And I love how the eyes turned out in the original. But this nice effect also makes it a lot harder for me to draw because I love shadows and I love overshading things. So I had to kind of stop myself and try to go for something a bit more minimal. I also didn't want my picture to look photorealistic. I wanted it to be in my style, and my style is kind of this softer, cartoony, but like more realistic cartoon. I don't know how to describe it. Kind of soft anime-esque type of thing. So I tried to go for that, but I also wanted to capture the facial expressions, and I color picked most of the colors except for the shadows and such, because in my experience color picking blush colors or shades for faces just doesn't really work all that well. The part that I like doing the most in this drawing is probably the face paint, because I think it adds a lot of character to the drawing by doing quite minimal things, like it's just putting down some colors messily and then smudging it a little bit. Here I'm just finishing up the eyes of the boy, which I also really like. I like that because of the flash, you just have like this little dot in the middle of the eye, which I think just looks really nice and a little bit dramatic. And then here I am coloring in the clothes real quick. Keep it quite simple here. I don't try to overshade or anything because there is very minimal shading in the original. And then for the last little touch, I write in the pins. And that is it. Here is the final result. I mostly really like this drawing, especially how the little girl turned out, but there are definitely some improvements that could have been made. So on to the next song. It is Raining in June by Olive Clegg. I'm sorry if I'm saying the last name wrong. And this song I actually really love, and I have been listening to it on repeat, especially while drawing and such, because it's just a calming, nice, sweet song. But I was not excited to draw this album cover, and the reason for that being that it is a really simple style and it's already drawn, it's already hand drawn. So me drawing it in my style is going to be really difficult, especially since you can't really see the faces, and the way I draw faces is kind of my style in a way. So I struggled a lot with this one, and it looks very similar to the original because it's hard to put my style into it. The only thing that is kind of different is that I have a lot softer lines because I hate line art with a passion. So I tend to make everything a lot softer and with softer shading. So that's kind of the only big difference here from the original, otherwise it is pretty much just the same. So this one is probably the most uninteresting one in this video. It was fun to make the little droplets in the window though. I enjoyed that a lot. Although I don't think it looks as good as in the original, but I think the original also has a photo in the window, but I'm not sure. But here is the original compared to the new version. It's pretty much the same, so not much to say about this one. And then the last song that I'm going to be drawing, or the album cover, is Ode to the Bouncer by Studio Killers. I'm not sure if I'm saying the first word in the title correctly. And this song is completely different from the other two songs, which are more calming, more dramatic. This one is kind of like a party song, it feels like. There's a lot of energy and rhythm that makes you just kind of want to dance. And it's also a really good karaoke song, in my opinion. It's very fun to sing. So that's why it is probably on my repeat, because I sing it a lot. But again, here the drawing I was not really excited about. The reason being that the original just looks so good. I can't top that, right? And also the style of the Studio Killers is just very iconic, and yeah, you can see it right away that it's them whenever there's a drawing, right? So that spooked me a lot, because drawing that in my style is just not gonna be as good. But I got it on here, so I gotta draw it, and I'll do my best. So here during the sketch process, I'm kind of just trying to figure out how to do it, and I try some different versions before I end up with this one. And here you can see that the proportions are just very different, because I have a completely different style from Studio Killers. But I try to change it up a little bit later to make the proportions of the face a bit more like the original character. Like her nose, for example, in my drawing is a little bit too big, and the eyes are too close to each other to really look like her, and I wanted her to have similar proportions at least. So you can see when I start coloring that I try to fix that. And I also really like the otter and the fox character. I think they're really adorable, and I didn't really notice that it was them until later on in the drawing, or like when I was studying the album cover, because I've seen this album cover a lot since I listened to the song quite often, but never really realized that there was a fox and the otter on there until I started drawing it. So this was the last drawing that I did of this series, and I drew all the 3 drawings on the same day. So this was the last one. I was getting tired, so I feel like I didn't really do my best in the beginning, especially with the line art. I think it's really shabby looking, and I was just kind of stressed as well. I didn't think I was gonna be able to do this very well. You can see also here that I changed the proportion completely, because I just didn't like anything about this drawing. And I think this is where it kind of turned around for me, because I got a lot more motivation from changing her proportions. I felt like she looked a little bit better, and that made me regain a little bit of that motivation. And I also decided to shade a little bit more than in the original album cover, and especially the face, which also motivated me a little bit. Even though it doesn't look as similar to the style on the album cover, I am supposed to draw it a little bit more in my style, so that's why I did that. But I tried to not go overboard, because I still wanted to look like the original album cover. And here I'm drawing the hair, and then I draw in the lips, and here I'm pretty much finished. I just draw the hat, and then I also realized that it has like these tiny little lines here and there, which is like a part of the hat. Not really sure what it is, but I really like it, so I added those and these little feathers. And then I was pretty much done. So here is the original compared to the redraw, and I actually think it turned out really good, and it turned out to be one of the better ones in this video. So here's a little overlook of all the album covers that I redrew today, and I'm for the most part really happy with them, except for maybe the one in the middle. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it, and I will see you again next week. Goodbye.